Hey, so in this video, I'm going to be teaching you a little bit about prepping your product. So the basic essentials to be aware of when you are doing prep. It is an important section of Amazon. It's really important to know because if you prep wrong, then that can literally be costly. So those are just some of the things that you will need when you are doing prep. So we've got there some tape and we have a dispenser. We have some plastic bags. We have some polythene bags with warnings on. We have a little barcode scanner there just to test if they work. We have a tape measure. We've got some labels there, 6x4 labels, and we have some sticker remover and a cloth. So we've already seen a bit of what's needed, but here are the common things that you will need as a newbie to Amazon. So pretty much everything you can imagine you'd need when you are doing prep. So brown tape, a tape gun is optional. You don't necessarily need one, but it does make life that bit easier. Poly bags, sticker remover, labels, scales, and preferably scales with an external face to it. That way you can put stuff on it and you don't have the face of the scales covered, so you can actually see the unit of weight measurement there. Bubble wrap, packing paper, which I think is sometimes called brown paper. It's one of the cheapest bits of prep material that you will need. Boxes, sellotape, and a dispenser, which is again optional. So this is some sticker remover. Now 151 is a really great brand for this, but I'm also aware of lots of other brands as well that are just as good. So really anything that is a sticker remover will do the job. Some other brands that come to mind are brands like HG or Sticky Stuff. Yes, there's a brand literally called that for sticker remover. Makes sense, very nice and simple. But anything that is a sticker remover will do. So 151 is a great one. From what I've seen though, I'm not seen as like bottles like this so much anymore. I think it's a little bit outdated. I know that you can get 151 with a scraper, and that's all I'm tending to see these days when having a look for some 151 sticker remover. So unless you want a million scrapers, you might just get it initially just to get the little scraper because it is useful. So here's a little video of using some sticker remover to get rid of the sticky adhesive stuff that's left behind on packaging, because you need to remove that. Any stickers that are on an item need to be removed. So if a store's put like on a sale sticker or something, you need to remove that, and obviously any sticky adhesive stuff that's there can cause damage to other products if you're stacking them up. For example, if someone separates that, it can pull a bit off of the other thing and the packaging's damaged, and then yeah, it's just not great. So you want to be able to remove all that kind of stuff, and obviously using sticker remover does just that. When it comes to poly bags, they do need warnings on them, and this one has got it in several languages. I think it is a must that you do need to have the warning in several languages. And to be fair, wherever it is that you get them from, if you aren't sure, if you can't see that on the poly bag, then you can ask them and see if the warnings are in a few different languages. So having them like that is really good, especially if you are shipping beyond just your own country. It just makes sense. So this is just a little video of the poly bag again with all of the warnings on it. So as I say, it's just really important to have that sort of thing on there. Now let's move on to thermal label printers. So of course, to print things like address and barcodes and whatnot, thermal printers are really the best one because they are smudge free. You can use a laser jet printer. So again, there's no smudgy ink. You just don't want to use a straight up ink printer, because if anything smudges on, say, like the address label, then that thing might not get to Amazon. Or if it's on the barcode and Amazon can't scan it, then they will, ring that up with you. And it can be costly, because if you prep something wrong and Amazon have to then correct it, then they will charge you for it. If you want to avoid some of this stuff like the whole label printing process and so forth. If you want to make that a bit easier, then Amazon do offer a service where they can do that sort of thing, but of course it costs more. So for the sake of a one-off payment for a label printer and some labels, which is relatively cheap for the labels, then it just makes sense. But yeah, I would say it needs to be a thermal label printer. You can try with an ink one, but again, if it smudges, then that will cost you, and eventually you'll probably get sick of it and you'll end up going for a thermal label printer anyway. An ink printer is great for things like when you need to print invoices or any physical documents and so forth that obviously aren't to do with your main line of prep. But for barcodes and addresses and so forth, it is just so important to have something like this. Now, there wasn't really much point in me putting a price range here, because the price range of thermal label printers really does vary, and you don't particularly need to get them new. So some brands off the top of my head that are good for label printers are Brother, Rolo, Jaden's, Munbin. There's just a few there for you. There's obviously loads of companies that do make thermal label printers. The main thing is they need to be able to do 4x6 labels. So yeah, that's the main thing you need them to do. So if you aren't really sure about the specs and what exactly they're going to print on, what's going to be compatible with them, and you need to ask, so long as they do 6x4 labels, then you are all good. So some basic prep tips for you is always check the most up-to-date Amazon prep advice, and you can find that on the Amazon website. I would recommend looking at this, not all the time, you don't need to. It doesn't change very much whatsoever, but every so often, maybe every couple of months, just have a quick read through. If you join some Facebook groups or Discord groups, people there will usually talk about changes that happen in Amazon anyway, whether it be prep stuff or something else. People talk about it, so you can be made aware via that means. But just for your own due diligence, it's probably best just to check every couple of months just to see if anything's changed, because you don't want to be prepping something wrong and then be subject to additional charges. Any liquid items such as sprays or shampoos should be taped to prevent leakages. So if you just tape over the lid or something like that, then that can help prevent leakages. All poly bags must have suffocation warnings. Just a health and safety thing. A hairdryer or fan heater is good for removing labels initially. So if you are taking anything off of a product and you need to remove some labels, then you can use a hairdryer or fan heater, just holding it against it so the hot air gets to it, can be really good for taking these things off. And then of course any adhesive that's left, you can use some sticker remover. Fragile items should be bubble wrapped to protect them, or polybagged if any part of the product is exposed. You may end up needing to do both, but yeah, that just makes sense. Bubble wrap for fragile items to make sure that they don't break. You need to make sure that you cover all barcodes before adding your product label. So any barcodes that are already there, you need to make sure that they are covered, and make sure that's done before you add your own product label. You're best using brown packing paper to fill gaps in your boxes. So when you are packing your case to send to Amazon and you end up with a bit of a void there that you can't really fit any more products in, then just use brown paper. Some people use the airbags, but I would just use brown paper. It's so much simpler, and it's far more cost effective. Not to mention that's recyclable. Always use double walled boxes, just because of that reinforcement. You don't want the boxes to be crumbling in on themselves like that, and then all your stuff's ruined. So it's just as much for your own sake to use double walled boxes, so none of your products go to waste. Keep boxes under 15 kilos if possible, and this gives you better shipping rates with the UPS. And if it goes over, it goes over. It can't always be helped. Boxes over 15 kilos require heavy labels on all four sides of the box for health and safety reasons. So this is why it's a good idea to have some scales with an external face to them, so that way you can actually read what's going on, like how much it's actually going to weigh. And this one actually comes just under 15 kilos. So it's really important to be able to have scales like that, so you can actually see what's going on. And when it comes to taping boxes, it's best to use brown tape and go all the way around, obviously leaving the space open at the top for you to put stuff in. But when you are sealing that, just do it all the way around. If you do it like this, is the best way to help reinforce the box further, so that way it doesn't come apart or anything like that during transit. So that's the best way, covering all the corners and then just crisscross over the face of each side of the box. That can be really helpful. Now there's loads of websites where you can get prep materials, and one of them is Kite. This is sort of like a one-stop shop for getting all of your prep materials. Now this is a UK based site, but if you literally just look up like where you can get prep materials from, like if you just look up, I need like bubble wrap, for example, a lot of the places where you're going to find one prep material, you usually find others as well. So looking for packaging and so forth, if you are just literally doing a Google search of packaging, you'll get no end of results. There's loads of sites that do this sort of thing, but this is just an example of one where it's, as you can see, a one-stop shop for everything prep material wise. One thing that I find that sellers seem to overlook is that you can just get all this stuff from Amazon. You buy this stuff from Amazon to sell on Amazon. You can also get this stuff from eBay as well. So there's plenty of places to get your prep materials. As I say, please refer back to earlier in the video when I gave you a list of the prep materials that you need. Obviously, anything additional that you need, you'll no doubt know about as you work through Amazon's prep guidelines. So if there's anything additional that you need for specific categories, because every category and how you prep various items is going to differ, if you come across anything like that, then sites like this are the best place to get things. Another little tip for you as well is, in terms of boxes, you can obviously acquire boxes on Amazon. You can acquire them on eBay, but what you can also where you can also acquire them from is from your local stores. I would just say the plainer the box, the better, really. If the box has any barcodes imprinted on it, you may just want to tape over it, obviously with some black, grey, brown tape, whatever, to completely cover it, or colour it in with a black marker or something like that. So anything like that, just cover. You can reuse boxes as well, so any stores obviously that have used a box for deliveries or whatever, they're just going to throw them away. So you can ask your store for some boxes and they can give you some. As I say, the plainer the box, the better. And then for things like brown paper and bubble wrap and so forth, if you actually order anything yourself and you get this stuff, as long as you keep it in good condition, so if you're careful when you're removing things from the box or opening the bubble wrap or whatever, then you can actually just use it again. It just makes sense. Why throw it away when it can be perfectly good for prepping your own stuff? So you can reuse lots of elements. I mean, who's to know that you've used some bubble wrap that's already been used, as long as you keep it in good condition? Like, who's going to know between that and some new bubble wrap? So yeah, you can do these sorts of things when you are prepping, and that just helps you keep some costs down and be a bit more thrifty with your prep. So hopefully this video has helped you with understanding some of the prep basics, giving you a couple of helpful tips as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you soon.